ever wondered what America was like 100 years ago?
Or how peanut butter was invented?
Why is the sky blue?
Tired of the same boring history book?
Let's discover something new today.
Welcome to Kids on the Square!
This episode of Kids on the Square is called Bike Ride.
Okay, the pie is in the oven.
Yay!
You ready for a nap?
I'm going to dream about pie.
Okay, love.
Mom, can we go on a bike ride to Mrs. Showbell's corner store? It's a 2-minute car ride. We can totally handle it.
Carolyn, Joanne, it's a 5-minute car ride.
Really? 5? What's the difference?
There's a big difference. A 5-minute drive in the car is completely different than a bike ride. By the time you get there, shop, and come home, it could take over an hour.
What's going to take over an hour?
Dad!
Were you in the garden shed? I thought you were fixing the attic ladder.
I was doing that. You start one quick Sunday project, and the next thing you know, it's Monday. I need to run over to the hardware store and get a different size bolt for the ladder's hinge.
We can go to the hardware store for you, Dad.
You can?
We can?
Girls.
Mother dear, father dear, excuse me and my associate for a moment. Come on, Joe. We can because it's right across the street from Mrs. Showbow's corner store that we are trying to convince Mom to let us bike to. Oh. Dad, we can totally handle going to the hardware store.
Well, that would be great. Then I can get a head start on fixing the faucet handle while you go to the store.
Whoa, Daddo. Do you realize these girls are saying they're going to the store by riding their bikes by themselves?
I can do it. It's only a mile-ish. We biked way longer distances together. You mind scooching over a bit? I'm going to take a look at the sink.
I'm in the middle of baking a peach blueberry pie. I'm housebound until that beauty is cooling on the windowsill, so they'd be going out alone.
They can do it. Hey, girls, I may need you to pick me up some plumber's putty, too.
Sure thing, Dad.
So Quaxalot has spoken. Family meeting. Girls, don't you move a muscle. And Dad, come back up here.
The quack has been sounded, girls. Sit down at the counter.
Okay. Can't fight the family duck call.
That is correct. The family duck call has been sounded. Therefore, this family meeting is now in session.
Hee hee, I love that little squeak.
The motion on the floor is that the girls ride their bikes to the corner of Lane and Rosewood to visit the hardware store for Dad and go to Mrs. Showbell's corner store to get popsicles and trading cards, I suspect.
Oh, now I understand the real mission behind all this.
Let the children remind you all that we'd be only using half of our allowances for the cards. Also let the children appeal to dear mother and dear father and dear Sir Quaxalot that this mission helps the entire household.
Does it now?
Yes, we get the cards, Dad gets the supplies, and Mom gets Mom gets some more brown sugar so she can add the oatmeal crumbles to the pie. Yes, the missing ingredient to reach the peach pie perfection.
I do love those crumbles. Plus, it gives me more time to work on the faucet handles and the ladder, and maybe getting that back door to stop sticking and...
Do you really think the girls can handle this, though? I think I'll be a nervous wreck the whole time.
We won't be going on any major streets. We can call you from the stores.
I do believe our girls can handle this. And you know what? Thank you, Sir Quaxalot. You're exactly right. This is the perfect time to tell a story. Girls, back me up here. Carolyn, go get the laundry basket. Joanne, grab that massive hat your mom only wears to the beach that takes up all the space in the shoe closet.
Okay.
Hey, you know I sometimes wear that hat while I garden, too.
Sure you do. And I wear my tool belt when I fix things on Sunday.
Touché. But what have you got planned here with Sir Quaxalot?
Wait and see. Just putting my minor in French to work. Okay, girls, follow my lead.
Okay.
All right, close your eyes. Hear the rush of ocean waves, the billowing of sails, use the bed sheets, and the sound of seagulls.
Huh? I mean, caw?
Okay, you got to put a little more effort into this if you want that parent-free bike ride.
Caw, 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 caw.
You are now on board the warship Boston in December 1778. One passenger aboard was founding father John Adams, on a mission to form an alliance with France in order to supply naval and war supplies. It was 2 years into the Revolutionary War, and this alliance was critical for the American colonies to even have a chance at defeating the British. Another passenger on board? John Quincy Adams, John Adams' 10-year-old son. Quincy had left his home, his mother, his brother, and sisters to help his father on his mission for liberty.
Je crie pour la liberté, tu cries.
No, I don't. See now, tout clear.
You speak French?
A little. Enough to know the difference between you shout and I shout.
How witty of you.
What are you writing?
Nothing. Just making a sheet for my father to practice when he wakes up.
You're trying to teach your father French? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I thought he was supposed to be this fancy ambassador that will get the Continental Army in alliance with France so we could finally be a free America and be done with this war.
He is that, and he will do that, but he doesn't speak French.
That's silly. Why would the Continental Congress send someone to France who can't even say baguette s'il vous plaît?
It would seem silly to someone like you. I assure you, my father is the most skilled man for the job. He was one of the authors of our Declaration of Independence. Furthermore, wait a moment, who even are you?
I'm Nathaniel. You haven't noticed me on deck with the others?
No, I beg your pardon.
You really have had your head in the books since we first took off then. Is reading and writing all you do?
In some ways, I suppose yes. My parents taught me at a very early age to write letters, and I believe keeping my journal with as much accuracy as possible is critical. For one day, these documents will be the greatest factual resources for this moment in history.
Uh-huh. Anyway, I know your dad's name, John Adams, but what's yours again?
I'm John Quincy Adams, and it's my pleasure too.
No need for all that stuffiness. I know you're just a kid. You're what, 12?
I'm 10.
I wasn't too far off. I figured you and I have that in common. I started in the Continental Navy a year ago when I turned 13.
Really?
Yes, Captain Tucker recruited me and my brother. My brother is working offshore after a bad wound from a cannonball. We had a scuff with the lobster coats off Split Rock.
Oh. Well, I know my entire family and I are thankful for people like you and your brother who are willing to fight for our independence. Have you ever been to France?
No, this is my first trek across the Atlantic.
Oh, I've never been anywhere really outside of Boston and our family farm. I don't like not knowing what to expect on the other side of these vast waters.
Now you got to change your perspective. I love the adventure of it all. There's a lot of fun and excitement to be had in the not knowing. There's a whole world of discoveries that we're on our way to find out. I think it's kind of lucky.
Luck? I don't believe in luck.
Alright then, think of it as a blessing.
A blessing, perhaps. Wait, so how do you speak French?
Well, I've been picking it up from Captain Tucker, reading a few books in the captain's library. Captain says speaking French isn't essential. It's the language of diplomacy.
Oh, don't remind me. I know French, Latin, German, Spanish, Italian, and I've just started Russian. Meanwhile, my father still can't discern the difference between unan and unun.
That's a donkey and a year, right?
Yes, he is proving to be a hopeless student.
You shouldn't fret,
Why's that?
'cause your dad's got a great teacher. You.
Merci. I should return to my studies.
Or you can come above deck with me and learn to chart the stars. Captain says it may take 3 months to get there this time of year. You'll have plenty of time for books on this voyage.
I shouldn't. The winds are too cold tonight. My father and I must stay in good health.
Maybe some other night then, John.
Quincy. You can call me Quincy.
Quincy. I like it. Less stuffy.
Hello, and welcome to a new segment of Kids on the Square that we're calling Summer Stories. We're bringing other members of our team into the studio here at the American Mission Center to tell us stories about what summer was like when they were kids, in a time with fewer screens and little to no internet. For this interlude, we're here with Alan C. Duncan, executive producer of The Public Square. Alan, do you have any special summer memories about riding your bike?
I remember the first time that my friend and I were able to ride our bikes to a place. You know, this is probably something that many kids remember. You know, you grow up, you're always allowed to ride the bike up and down the street, you know, in front of the house or in the driveway, maybe to your friend's house down the road. But this was the first time, the first summer, my friend, his mom, we were at his house, let us ride to the corner store. I don't even know if we went in the store. We may have. Don't remember if we bought anything. But what I do remember is just that sense of pure freedom. There's no parents looking over our shoulders right now. They've trusted us. They trust us to ride these bikes, you know, cross streets, be safe, look both ways, all that kind of stuff, and get to a real location that wasn't somebody's house in the neighborhood, and then get back safely. I just won't ever forget the sheer feeling of freedom that gives a kid. To me, that felt like more freedom than when I got my driver's license. And there's just something about that you kind of have to have that little bit of adventure, that little bit of danger to get that feeling of freedom. I recently took my own son. He's not quite at the point where I let him ride his bike outside the neighborhood yet on his own, but it's coming. But I remember when I took him out of the neighborhood for the first time, and I could see that sense of freedom beginning to dawn on his face. He was probably 9 when we first did that. It's just, wow, I'm on a bike ride with my dad and we're going somewhere that's not our own street. And so it's just a very, very cool feeling that I think you can only get on a summer bike ride.
Yeah, that is a special feeling. Alan, thank you so much for sharing with us. We hope you all enjoyed these summer stories.
Did you know July 4th, 2026 is America's 250th birthday?
Whoa, and I thought turning 10 was a big deal.
Kids on the Square is celebrating now.
We are digging into the history of the founding of America. Look for episodes that have America's 250th in the title.
Plus, with those episodes, you'll find free activities and resources that apply to the 250th.
And you can leave us a voice message on our website, kidsonthesquare.com. Share with us what you've learned about America and why you love our country.
If you do, we might even share your message on the show. But make sure you ask your parents for permission.
The more we learn about this time in history, the more America's 250th birthday will mean to us.
So join us today at
Kids on the Square.
Okay, I just checked the pie. Hit me with the rest of the story.
Okay, we head back to the ship with Nathaniel, Quincy, and John Adams in the middle of a French lesson. Ready, girls?
Ready!
Magnifique!
Je suis John Adams, votre Louis, et je vous...
Supplie Daddy.
Supplie Didi les États indépendants d'Amérique.
Oui, plus tard. Aimes-tu mon chien?
Do I like your dog?
Yeah, I hear all the French people love tiny dogs and carry them around and...
Stay in character, please.
Désolé, désolé. Aimes-tu mon petit chien?
Oui, j'aime ton chien?
Correct. Nicely done.
There you go, Mr. Adams. That almost sounded like French.
Thank you, Nathaniel. I think I will be taking a short break from our lessons to rest.
Are you feeling seasick again, Father?
Yes. I'm afraid my stomach and the Atlantic cannot find a way to agree.
Could I go above deck with Nathaniel for a bit?
Have you finished your journaling today?
Yes.
Studied your Russian and Greek?
Yes.
Completed your reading on the War of the Roses?
Yes.
Finished your mathematics and science primers?
Yes.
And studied your scriptures?
Yes, Father. I've done nothing all day but read and write.
Come on, Mr. Adams. A bit of fresh sea air will do him good.
Well, all right. Nathaniel, go up now. And Quincy will follow you in a moment.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Father. I should not have been rude and impatient towards you or my studies.
Well, thank you, Quincy. I accept your apology. I know we have almost reached 4 months on this voyage, but that is no excuse. A childish attitude like what you just displayed is something we simply cannot afford once we reach France. So many people are dependent on us to succeed with this alliance. All our words and actions are a representation of our new country, and more importantly, our maker.
Yes, Father.
Remember, Quincy, we do all this so that one day you and your children will have a freedom to study art and whatever fascinates your spirits.
Yes, Father.
Good. And remember what your mother said to you.
Great necessities call out great virtues.
There's my lad. Now, go above deck. I believe I have an appointment to lose my lunch again.
Poor Father. If Captain Tucker has any more dry biscuits, I shall bring them to you.
British! British ship off the starboard bow! On the columns!
Father, a British ship has spotted us.
Quickly, close the door. You must stay down here.
And what about you?
I must go up and fight if necessary.
But
I'll be all right, Quincy. We cannot risk capture at any cost. You stay below and tend to anyone who comes down for medical needs. Remember, great necessities call out great virtues.
Great necessities call out great virtues.
We're back for another summer story, this time with Rob Walgate, Vice President of the American Policy Roundtable. Rob, you had a story about summer with your dad that you wanted to share with us?
So I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and we were going to Lexington, Kentucky as part of, I think it was called Gym Jamboree. It had to deal with Asbury University. It was a gymnastics thing, but we were also going to somewhere else. I just remember being a kid and going with Dave and Brandon. And so we're going to this event in Lexington. And again, so our dads would have been in their late 20s, early 30s. And we go down there, we go like exploring one day out in this woods, and they're going to take us to this train trestle to where it's almost like a bridge. And we're like, we're kids, we're throwing rocks, there's things everywhere. And they were like, we're going to walk out on this trestle, and do not tell your moms that we're walking out on this train trestle. Well, sure enough, we walk out on this train trestle. What do we hear? Train coming down the track. We hear it. The track starts shaking. We're up on this bridge. We got to get off, and we got to get off quickly because there's like a bend. But someone had told us they don't use it anymore. So our dads thought, well, no one's going to come. Well, there's a train coming. So we've got to like sprint. So we sprint. So we get there and we jump to a side. This is so crazy. I can't even believe like I'm telling this story because my mom's still we weren't supposed to tell our moms, but we still told our moms, Brandon and I. We jumped. Me and Brandon jumped to one side. Dave and Bub, my dad, Bub jumps to the other side. Now they don't know whether to tell us to come on their side of the tracks, but the train now gets there 10 seconds later. So they're like looking like through the train. You can imagine the heads looking to see if their sons are on the other side. And I'm like, we don't think it's that big of a deal, but the dads are like hearts racing, sweating. I can remember thinking like he grabs me by the neck and like he's having a talk with me. It's like, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that. I'm like, we shouldn't have done that. It wasn't our idea to do it. The dads were like, let's go out on this train trestle. And so I tell these stories to my kids, and I'm like sitting there thinking, and as I tell them, I have my wife staring at me, like looking at me like, are you seriously telling them? But these are childhood memories that we have that are amazing. We've lived to tell about them. But every time I see a train trestle, I am reminded of the time being in the middle of Kentucky and jumping to the wrong side and my dad wanting to kill me. So sorry. If these probably aren't stories that are appropriate, moms are going to be like, what are we doing?
The moms will understand. Well, from these dads, we hope all the rest of you dads out there had a happy Father's Day, and we hope these summer stories encourage you kids to spend some time this summer going out and exploring the world around you. But don't try to hide anything about your adventures from your moms. because they will find out eventually. Rob, thank you so much for coming in and sharing, and we hope you all enjoyed these summer stories.
Whoa, so what happens next?
There was a battle between the two ships. John Adams really did join the fight.
No way. Was he crazy?
He knew that if the ship was captured, the British would show no mercy on them. I also like to think in a way he was already trusting Quincy with his mission. He knew Quincy could carry it forward, and thankfully, they won the fight.
I'm so glad.
I know, right? Their journey took 4 months, but eventually they reached France safely.
So, Mom, what do you think?
About what?
About me and Joanne riding our bikes to the store. Yeah, that was the whole reason why we acted like seagulls and attempted to speak French.
Ah, I thought it was your love of history that motivated you.
Mom, we can do it. We'll be safe. I promise. This is not a transatlantic trip to France. We can call you and update you every step of the way.
True, but you're forgetting something here. Quincy's father was right there with him the whole trip. He didn't send his 10-year-old son onto a brutal, icy warship alone. They were a team.
Well, you have a point, but the story isn't over.
Okay, go on.
Well, father and son made it to France, did their job, and returned home. Soon after, they were sent on another mission. This time, they split up.
Where did Quincy go?
Russia.
What?
His father sent him with Francis Dana to serve as translator and further his education. He was 14 at the time.
What a life he had already. When I was 14, I was totally obsessed with my Coldplay CDs. Not anywhere close to being on my own in a foreign country.
Cold cut CD? Is that some kind of sandwich?
Very funny. It's a band, and we used to actually buy a physical copy of their music to listen to it.
Mom, stop before you make yourself sound prehistoric.
Okay, anyway. I guess what I'm trying to say is Quincy was in a totally different time. Our modern day has a lot of perks.
Like airplanes. I can never survive 4 months on the same boat.
Right. But our time also has a different set of dangers.
You're right, Mom. Look, if you don't think we are ready for a solo bike ride, I understand. Me too.
Thank you, girls.
Sir Quacksalot has called for the parents to hold a meeting. The parental units shall retire to the dining room and make our decision together. Come, fair maiden. Come, fair fowl.
All right. Be back in a sec, girls.
What does retire mean? It's another word for leave. What's a fowl? It's another word for duck. Well, I know who taught us how to be all fancy pants. Yeah, I guess we get it from somewhere.
All right, girls. After consulting with your father and Sir Quacksalot, we agree that you can go on the bike ride by yourselves.
No way!
Yes! But if you don't call me in 30 minutes after you leave, I'm hopping in the minivan to get you, and this pie will burn.
Yes, Mom.
And you must remember,
all your words and actions are a representation of our family, and most importantly, God. Understood?
Understood.
All right, go already.
I have to put on my shoes. Can you grab my water bottle? I'm going to sing at the top of my lungs out there. I wonder if I have enough change to get a blue raspberry popsicle.
Think we made the right decision, Sir Quacksalot?
Definitely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Kids on the Square. We hope you enjoyed Bike Ride. If you did, please share this episode with a friend and subscribe to our podcast page so you don't miss our next episode. Kids on the Square is generously supported by listeners like you, and this episode is dedicated to Joanne Zeiser and Carolyn Bartley. If you'd like to support this program, you can contact us via our website, kidsonthesquare.com. And if you want a chance for your voice to be heard on the show, don't forget that we even have a way to record voice messages right there in our contact form. You can tell us what you think about an episode, share things you've learned about these stories from the show, let us know about historical stories you'd like to hear, or even just say hi. You can also visit kidsonthesquare.com to hear more of our podcast episodes and find lots of fun activities and resources to go along with them. And if you're a parent or guardian listening and you're new to the Public Square, we hope you visit our website, thepublicsquare.com, and discover the full host of other radio products we have available. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on
Kids on the Square.
A special thank you to all of the voice actors who made this episode possible. Clara, Amelia, Liliana, Paxton, Nikki, Jonah Jackson, Matt Welch, Anna Welch, and Derek West.